Hello and welcome to Up the Villa podcast. If you're new, please subscribe because you'll help us grow massively. We'll reach our goals, and thanks to all the new subscribers. And for this video, if you can all drop it a like, we'll try and get to 100 likes. That'll be much appreciated from us. So Everton, Kazoo Derby again, only feels like we played them yesterday. It's come up quite quick, to be fair, obviously, because we've only played them once this season. But first, just want to congratulate the Aston Villa women's team for obviously surviving in the Super League. Brilliant stuff. I know we've spent a lot of money assembling that squad, and it mimics slightly what Dean Smith had to go through when we got promoted to the Premier League. But a little bit sad is that obviously Gemma Davis lost her job today as well. And I think, a fantastic young coach for the women's game. She got a lot of qualities. She'd got Villa promoted, so it was slightly sad to see her go. I thought maybe she could have gone on to be a coach or something and stick around Villa, so that's a shame. Ryan, what did you make of the women's football this season?
Yeah, I think most fans are disappointed with the decision after her achievements in getting us promoted. She's Villa through and through, but it did seem a bit of a strange one that Bignut got in and then the demoted Davies. So that must have been a bit of a tough situation. But there has been a lot of parallels between Dean Smith's journey and Davies's journey in gaining promotion and retaining their status in the WLS. So she's inexperienced, but you thought they'd keep her around the club. She's very talented. She's only 29, but look, I guess the club is looking in a different direction now, and the tough calls have got to be made, and we've got ambitious owners. The club's evolving constantly, so it's going to be in the best interest in moving the team forward positively.
Yeah, I think it obviously is a shame, but I imagine that there's a name that's been lined up. And they're going to move forward with that name as well. So we've got a new member on the screens tonight, Hannah. Some of you might know who she is. You might have read some of her articles on our website. She's doing some fantastic stuff with her match reports. So we just want to congratulate her on coming onto the A team today. So we've got Everton coming up. What are your thoughts going into the game?
Hello, everyone. Nice to be on the channel. I think it's going to be a very different game to the one we had 10, 12 days ago. Given Everton's away form this season, we know their home form has been significantly worse. So I have no doubt that it will be completely different when they come to Villa Park. And they've still got the exact same dangers. We know Calvert-Lewin in the air from set pieces is going to be difficult. It feels like the tail end of this season, we've just forgotten how to defend set pieces. So that's a bit frustrating. But I think with the speculation that Jack Grealish might finally be coming back, I mean, you've got to take it with a pinch of salt at this point because who knows. But if we do see Jack back, obviously we're missing Ollie Watkins, that's a blow. But if Jack's back and the players can take that confidence from the performance at Goodison a couple of weeks ago, then I don't see any reason why we can't mimic the same high level of performance again and hopefully get 3 points. But as I say, it will be a completely different game than it was before, given their weird away form. Can perhaps be because of lack of fans, who knows. I feel like a lot of teams this season are struggling at home and finding that away form, which is bizarre, but we shall see.
Like you said, I just hope we can bring that level of performance. I think we saw it slightly in the first half against Man United, and like you say, Jack is back, whether he's going to be on the bench or straight back in. It's just nice to sort of hear a bit of positivity before a game, that the speculation that he is going to be back in the 18s, in the squad at least, to be fair. So Justin, Everton, how are you feeling about this one?
Yeah, I'm pretty confident. As we always, or as I always am. As always, confidently beat everyone. But realistically, we can, can't we? We beat them away pretty comfortably. I know this very, very hard quirk about their home and away form. And I watched them the other day against West Ham, and they were very, very good. You know, West Ham are going for a Champions League spot, so to go there and to beat them is no mean feat, is it? They just seem a different beast away from home. I don't know what it is. Whether they're, I mean, it can't be that they're, you know, more relaxed because they're playing in front of no fans, so it's irrelevant, really. It's a football pitch, isn't it? But yeah, a very odd thing for them this season. But yeah, I think we can go into it very confident. Right, we've had the usual defeat to Man United, but I mean, that's standard. So that's, you know, put that away now and just move on with the season. You know, I feel if we can get a really good positive result against Everton, then go into the Palace game, then a couple of wins there, and we can really push for that top 10 finish, which is what we all really desire now. Jack back's massive. I mean, that should give the whole squad a boost. So, you know, him strutting around the dressing room ready to go out, and I think if he's fit, he starts. And I think that will give us the boost we need to beat him. Watkins is a big blow, but I've been championing Davies for long enough now to get, you know, I wouldn't want him to start under the circumstances he's going to probably start him, but it is what it is. He's got a chance now to play hopefully 90 minutes and show us all what he's got. With Jack supplying him and probably Traore out the other side. So, yeah, I'm positive. I think we can go into the game with no fear, nothing to lose, and trying to beat them, and I think we will.
Buzzing. So we've got, like I say, we've got a lot of episodes coming out this week. To the start of next week, we have got a monster exclusive episode coming. It's absolutely huge, so stay tuned for this one. We're all buzzing to bring you this one. So we'll go straight into some of the questions then from the viewers and listeners. So we've got Steve AVFC has put, is it time to take a look at some of the kids at the expense of others who have underperformed, if we have any plans to integrate them into the team next season, or them on the bench? Points are more important and continue to play our strongest team. And Hoppo along the same sort of lines has put, why does Carney not get a chance, especially as there is now nothing to play for? Hannah, what are your thoughts on us integrating the youth into the team, into the squad with 4 games to go?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've noticed a few more of them getting onto the bench in recent weeks. I think in some of the tougher games, maybe they wouldn't have been up to speed, but who knows? I think obviously with their youth cup, still very much to play for, that's going to be on the back of their minds. At the end of the day, they've got to fill the bench with players, and they're probably just there to make up the numbers at the minute, because they've got to prioritise that cup. For them, that's massive. But I mean, I don't see any reason why the likes of Chukwuemeka, Barry, Kesler Hayden can't be getting a few minutes, even if it's chucking them on 15 minutes at the end, because at the end of the day, I mean, I don't like the phrase on the beach, but as much as we want to finish in the top half, our season is, you know, almost done. There's not too much to play for, so I don't see why we can't throw them on and just give them that bit of experience. I think that would do them the world of good anyway, just big confidence levels, and just helping them make that step up, because maybe next season we can see more of them as they're getting older and as they're progressing. If they can win the Youth Cup as well, that would be big for them. I think it's all about just building that confidence and getting them up to the pace of a Premier League, because it's obviously a lot different to what they're playing week in, week out in the youth setup. So I'd be all for it personally, especially like with Watkins out this week. It's not like we're going to be throwing on Davies and Wesley at once. There's going to be that extra spot to play for, so I don't see why we can't just throw them on, give them a shot. What's the worst that can happen, really?
What my view on it is, I think what we're trying to do at the minute is integrate them slowly but surely into either training with the first team, getting involved in the match day squad, and I think Dino would put them on the pitch if it was at the right moment and everything was going swimmingly well. I think obviously it's very difficult to say to put them on when we're losing 3-1 to Man United at home. I just think that for this season it's about finding that right moment for them, because I've no doubt that they'll be heavily involved in pre-season and going into next season. What's your views on that, Ryan?
Yeah, totally agree with what Hannah was saying. I think you've nailed it there. Chukwuemeka seems to be the one that everyone's making a case for, and he absolutely teared it up, didn't he, against Newcastle in that FA Youth Cup game. He looked a man amongst boys, and he's the one I'd most likely to see, and Kesler. But like you say, they have got that FA Youth Cup, and for them to be in a semi-final and then try and get into a final and try and win it, that's just going to be enormous experience for them as well, isn't it? More so than being on the bench for the first team. But no doubt in my mind, they're going to be heavily involved in pre-season. A lot of them was heavily involved training with the first team when COVID struck, because Chukwuemeka and that was unavailable for that Liverpool game. So yeah, their time will come. We just need to be a little bit patient, and we'll see the best of them if they're good enough.
I don't think we'll see him this week, though, because that semi-final's on Friday night, isn't it? And it's live on telly, isn't it? So I think they'll probably release these next two games. I don't think we'll see a lot of the young kids, but I hope to see him soon enough.
Definitely. So we've got another question regarding Nakamba. So Culture Classics, we know them well, don't we, Ryan? I think we've got to change it up in midfield a bit. Would like to see Nakamba starting, Ramsey behind Big Keenan. And we've got another one on Nakamba. Deck has put time to give Nakamba a run of games. So, Justin, do you feel like it's Nakamba time, or are we sticking with Luiz? But what I would like to say on Luiz is, again, the abuse he must have had on Instagram or Twitter after the game, it's a joke. And that sort of stuff, just, are we not learning anything from the media blackout we saw last weekend? I just don't know what some of these people are, at what planet they're living on. They must be absolutely brain dead and just not aware of what is going on. Because nobody deserves that amount of stick or abuse. You know, we can all say he had a bad game or he should have done better for the penalty, but to actually keyboard warrior him, it's just ridiculous. Anyway, Justin, Nakamba.
Yeah, I agree with you, mate. You know, for me, Luiz is the better footballer out of the two. I think Nakamba's got his qualities. We all know what they are. You know, when he's called upon, he does very rarely let us down. But for me, he's not a starter for us now. He's not. He's a player that comes in when we may be losing one or two players through injury or suspension. And I personally would stick with Douglas Luiz. You know, I had a really good interaction on Twitter this week, actually, with somebody that had sort of said that it's time to let him go now. And once I'd sort of debated it, you know, they'd sort of changed their mind a bit. He's just turned 23 years of age. He's a Brazilian international. And I defy anybody that watched that Douglas Luiz after Project Restart last year, who was our best player by a country mile last year, to say that we should just dispense with him now because he's had one or two dodgy moments in a game, not even dodgy games. He's had a dodgy moment. You know, we all know the penalty things and the free kicks. He's got this habit, whether it's overconfidence because he's this Brazilian style and flair, that he just thinks he can always get the ball. But that's something that they can work on. That's something the coaches work on, isn't it? So for me, Luiz starts. I like Nakamba. He's a good squad player. He's a nice bloke to have around. He's always smiling. I mean, he's pictures of him on the training ground. He must be a fantastic bloke to be around. But for me, I stick him with Luiz.
Yeah, I think I'd stick with Luiz as well. So, question from Alex, who is a massive Up the Podcast fan. Davis or Wesley to start, or both in a 4-4-2. Let's get the clean sweep in the Kazoo derby up the Villa. And, you know, this question time, Plaza time, we're back. Davis, Wesley, or both. He's back. Or both versus Everton. And then his another one is, I'm a massive Dean Smith fan and think he deserves so much credit in the summer. It's likely he'll get another 100 million again for transfers. If we fail to make top 8, will it be his last season? Hannah, you go with Davis or Wesley or both for Everton. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, I don't see us going for a 4-4-2. Dean Smith doesn't ever really go 4-4-2, and I don't see it changing just because we've lost Watkins this week. I think it will depend on whether Jack Grealish is back. So I think we'll probably have Grealish, maybe Davis up top because he's played more game time. Don't think Wesley could start a game at this minute. And then Traore. I don't see it being too much different from that. You could start Wesley. I mean, but he's not looked quite at it, and it's understandable. I mean, he's 15, 16 months out. I think he's just got to build that up a lot more gradually. So it will likely, in my brain, be you'll start Davis in Watkins' spot, and then 70 minutes or so you'll bang Wesley on, or depends on the game's going, obviously. I don't see him starting both. It's just that Davis has got a little bit more fitness in him at the minute, so you'd rather give him the run around. And to be fair, when he's come on, he has proven a few times that he's got, some good qualities. I don't think he's a starter, and I think he does need to go on loan and get proper game time in order to improve his game. But when he's come on, his strength is obviously his main characteristic, which I think against that Everton back line would be useful, because we saw that they can be got at. They're very vulnerable at times, so his strength would probably be very useful in this game to bully them a bit. Whereas Wesley's not going to have that same confidence and strength immediately. You can tell he's still a bit wary, and that's understandable. So for me, if we got Grealish, it's going to be Grealish, Davis, Traore.
I think you're spot on. I'd go Davis as well. I feel like he deserves this chance, doesn't he? He deserves this start. Yeah. He must be looking ahead now, thinking, can't wait to get on that pitch and show us what he can do. Regarding Smith, I mean, we all know we're going to spend a lot of money in the summer. Smith has come out this week and taught the project up, hasn't he? He's saying that the owners mean business. They're going for it. They're aspiring to be in the Champions League. They're aspiring to win Premier Leagues. Dean Smith knows what he's got to do. He knows the remit. He knows he's got to get Aston Villa climbing that table pretty quickly. So for me, we know that 8th probably isn't good enough next season, Ryan.
Yeah, it'll be interesting wait for the fixture list to come out, because we need a good start, don't we, just to ease that pressure off Dean Smith, because the pressure is going to come this season. He's done remarkably well. Everybody that watches his channel know we are big Dean Smith fans, but we've said it numerous amounts of times. This is a massive season for Dean Smith. It's a big summer of recruitment again. We've got to get that nailed on A-star again, like the last 2 seasons. So yeah, big season ahead, but looking forward to it.
But for me, no doubt in my mind, I think he'll do it. I do. There's no
reason smash it. He'll smash it.
There's no reason why he's not going to take us to that next level, because he's done it every time.
I think we've all got to accept, and I think he accepts now, that he's always going to be under pressure at Villa. The position we are in now and where we want to go to, he's not going to never be not under pressure again, is he? And I think the way he spoke in the week was basically him telling the fan base, look, I know what I've got to do. I know what the owners are expecting of me. So please let me get on with it. Just get off me back for a bit. I'm confident I can do it. And I think he knows if he doesn't do it, if we have a bad start, 10 games in, look what happened to Gemma Davis. They're not going to mess about, these owners. They mean business. So Dean knows what he's got to do, and I'll back him to do it.
100%. So we've got some thoughts from the viewers and listeners. James has put another great podcast, lads. That must have been one the other day. Very sad to hear abuse against some of the players. We've touched on that on the Louise. Johnny D has put, hopefully the ref's not a scouser. And CH, I think this is a brilliant point to finish on. After the news from Dean Smith reiterating the owner's ambitions to be placing consistently in the Champions League places and winning cups and the Premier League titles, I think it's important to yet again praise the leadership of NSWE for firstly saving our club and then putting clear plans in place to bring us back to the glory days as a giant force in world football up the Villa. What a point to finish on. We're massive.
Agree.
So we'll go around now and have our score predictions for Everton. So I'll kick it off. Don't know why. I've thought about this one all day. 0-0. That's what's in my head. Ryan?
I've gone for a draw as well, but a slightly more entertaining one. A Desmond 2-2.
Hannah?
I'm going to go positive for my debut. I'm going to go with a bit of a cagey 1-0. That's about as positive as I'm feeling. just because of Everton's away form. They looked good the other day, but with Grealish, we're gonna do it.
Justin?
You pair, get your splinters out, honestly. Ridiculous. I'm going to go with what I said about Man United. I'm going to go for 3-1 Villa.
That's a confident win.
Davis to get the first.
Cool. So thanks everyone for watching our little preview episode. Hannah's debut, smashed it. She's been doing some top work for us on our website, so check some of that out as well. I'll put the link in the description for that as well. And yes, stay tuned this week. We've got a lot of content coming out. So thanks for watching. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.